Zach and I have decided that the way we want to start documenting our family and sharing, most of all, sharing our story and our experiences that we're going through right now with our sweet new baby Carter is through a vlog, because we feel like there's so many people who have prayed for him and have invested time into him and thoughts and emotions that they feel like they almost feel like they own a piece of him, that a part of him belongs to them, and it does. We owe everything that he is to you guys. So we want to take you along with our journey. We want to spread awareness of the things that we have been through. We want to be there for people who could potentially be going through what we're going through. We want to be able to turn something that could have been a negative experience into something that's positive and beautiful. We've always been that way. Our first son was born in the NICU for a month, and some of our greatest time healing from that experience was volunteering again later in the future in the NICU and going and talking to the parents who were then in the NICU with their babies and giving them encouragement and helping them understand that though there are challenges in the NICU, that it can be a good experience. So I'm going to start this first vlog by going through and talking about our experience in getting Carter here and the things that he has experienced so far, and then we can continue on with follow-up visits and things that we're going to be experiencing here in the future. Say hi, buddy. Hi. Sorry, he wanted to come and enjoy the movie too. This little guy, from the very beginning, I could tell that something wasn't right with his breathing. He was always very labored and squeaky, and when trying to eat, it was like it was impossible for him. And there was just something that was right. He never did the suck, swallow, breathe pattern normally, and I remember begging the nurses and the respiratory therapists to put him back on oxygen because he just struggled so much. And they would say, but his oxygen isn't really dropping, but it made him calm down. When he would feed, he would flail and panic, and it was awful. It wasn't a normal experience for him. The occupational therapists would try to work with him every day, and they would just say, maybe it's the bottle, maybe he doesn't like the bottle. He would nurse fairly well, and I think a lot of that had to do with him feeling safe and comfortable, and not necessarily because one was easier than the other. I'm not sure. He was there for a month trying to gain weight and learning to take a bottle. We were able to get him to a point where he could take a small bottle, and they were able to let us go home after a month. We actually didn't know that we were going to be going home that day, and it worked out perfectly that it was my mother-in-law's birthday. She had been taking care of my 3 children while I was in the hospital taking care of Carter and trying to get him home, and I couldn't think of anything more fantastic than surprising her on her birthday.
You have something in your...
Oh, look who's home. Come look.
What?
We have a baby.
What? Oh, happy birthday, Grandma! This is the best person ever.
Oh, good.
Oh, my gosh, look.
It's
yours forever.
Yay!
Forever and ever.
after Carter got home, he didn't gain weight well. He didn't eat normal still. He would still kind of panic and he would suck, and then and try to catch his breath. So he never had a good eating pattern, and we tried so many different bottles, so many different brands, and we finally found that the Honest Company bottles were best for him. I don't know if it was the flow rate, the nipple size, the combination of everything, I don't know, but it worked, and we stuck with it, and I'm so grateful for those bottles because they saved my son's life. He was able to get an ounce, maybe 2 at the most, for months. He didn't really gain any weight. He would gain maybe 1 or 2 ounces in a week's period time, and he was diagnosed with failure to thrive. At that point, he was placed on a feeding tube, and he would gain weight on the feeding tube, which led me to believe that he was exhausting too much energy eating, that there was something that was with his eating, that he was working too hard to eat, that he was burning every calorie he got. We had him on a higher calorie diet. We were meeting with nutritionists. We tried everything. We just weren't sure what was going on with him. He had a milk allergy. We got him on a different formula for that. It helped a little bit, but the eating was still the problem. We had a pediatrician who gave us a referral to an ENT, an ear, nose, and throat doctor down in Salt Lake at Primary Children's, and I believed firmly that he had a condition called laryngomalacia. Now, laryngomalacia is a very common thing among new babies and young children, and they typically grow out of it. Well, in Carter's case, he was not going to grow out of it because he couldn't grow. His was severe enough that it was not allowing him to eat. He had a floppy airway. So the area above his vocal cords was sort of floppy, and I believed that that was causing his failure to thrive. And the ENT could tell within moments of walking in that room and listening to him breathe. We would get people make comments all the time before this about his little baby noises or him struggling, you know, and they would give me looks like I was a terrible mother because something was wrong with my baby. But I had been assured by nurses in the NICU over and over and over again that it was normal, that he was fine, that he would just grow out of it, and I just accepted it. But the ENT confirmed what I had thought all along, that he had this condition and that it was severe and that he did need surgery, and he needed it soon. And that following Monday, he had his supraglottoplasty surgery, where they went in and trimmed away a little bit of that tissue to open up that floppy airway a little bit, to hopefully give him some more breathing space, I guess, essentially. He immediately after surgery, within 3 days, was taking 3 ounces. His breathing was night and day difference. And we truly believed that we had fixed the problem. After his surgery, the doctor came to talk to us, and he explained, though, that Carter has a small jaw. We knew this. We had nurses that would make comments about his small jaw. It wasn't anything that was new to us. We knew he had a small jaw. I have a small jaw that's set back myself. But because of his small jaw, his tongue is connected to his lower jaw. Everybody's is, and so because of his small jaw, his tongue falls into his airway. The ENT was quite concerned about the amount that was being blocked off by his tongue and his airway, and at that point, we were told that there's a possibility that we may have to do something about that, but that we would see how he did overnight. Well, he didn't desat. He did wonderful. He was on his back. He did great, and the ENT was very hopeful that maybe just the anesthesia itself was causing that to collapse a little bit more. And so we went in for a sleep study, and in the sleep study, we honestly thought nothing was going to come of it, that we were fine. We were going to go on this road to getting him a little bit bigger, to gaining weight, that he was going to be doing well. We were very shocked when we found that he has severe obstructive and central sleep apnea, according to what the nurse called and told me. So he is now on oxygen when he sleeps, and we are currently awaiting an appointment on the 15th to go have a CT scan done under anesthesia of his face to check and see if his tongue is in fact causing his obstructive sleep apnea. Now, he does have pretty severe reflux too, so there's part of me that thinks that maybe that could be the obstructive sleep apnea and that maybe it's not his tongue. But the reality is that we know he has a small jaw. They saw in the surgery that his tongue impedes his airway, and that's probably more likely the situation. If that's the case, we were told that the likely treatment for that would be major jaw distraction surgery. It's not a pretty surgery. It's not easy. It's actually pretty horrendous, and the thought of having my baby go through something like that is devastating. I cried for 2 days. I couldn't look at him without sobbing. At this point, I think I'm trying not to think about the what ifs. I'm trying to live in the moment and not jump to the future, which is a hard thing for me because I like to have all my ducks in a row. I like to have plans. I like to know that things are where they're supposed to be. But I've learned a lot of things with him, and that's that I have to live now, and I have to think about what's happening now and not focus on the could-be's in the future. So we will know more after we have the CT scan of his face, and then we will meet with the ENT that following week to discuss possible treatments. I'm not sure exactly what it is that he has in mind, if there's other options other than the jaw distraction surgery. I just know that when we got the phone call, jaw distraction surgery was mentioned specifically. So we just want to invite you guys to continue to put good thoughts out there for him, to pray for him, to be able to accept and be strong enough to handle the things that are going to continue on in his little life. He is a warrior. He is a fighter. He is the strongest little 10-pounder I have ever met. He's now 6 months old, and he weighs 10 pounds, so he's still very small. Can you say bye? Say, watch me. Say, I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna do good. Yeah. See you guys.